So, today, the big one, masking. Masking and, well, I suppose hiding, but most people who are Aspies know what masking is. It's hiding your features that are portrayed, hiding your mannerisms, hiding your anxiety, fear, how you walk, all these things, masking. For me, it's been pivotal. It's either my greatest success or my greatest failure, because I need it. I rely on it on a day-to-day basis, and I even employ my wife as my sidekick, and for longer social events she's essential. But so masking, we know what it is, whether it's right or wrong. There's quite a few articles that say that it's detrimental, but for me, I wouldn't be without it. My first masking, I probably can't remember. It was before I was even aware of that I was masking, really. Probably just trying to fit in, you would call it. But later on, I remember very clearly modifying the way I walked. This was probably about 12. And I remember thinking that I walked duck-like, and it was different from most everyone else. And so I actively turned my feet inwards, walked straighter, kept straight, kept my head up. Although that was pointed out by one of my parents' friend, my mum's friend, who said, stop walking with your head looking at the floor. Said, put your chin up. So that was a big thing. So yeah, the walking, I trained my gait, my walk. Gaze, eye contact, another big one. I masked that by they say Aspies struggle with eye contact. Yes, that's true, but there's two ways of looking at it. If I give you the example and said, look at my finger, and then say, look at my hand. When you say look at the hand, you don't look at the fingers, you look at the whole, which is what I tend to do with the face. I don't look at eyes, I defocus slightly and I look at the face. And I also kind of retract into myself a little bit. I also, from a very early age, worked out what the appropriate responses were. So pretty much by the tone of their voice, I knew the appropriate response tone. So I could be thinking about my visage while still still looking right in a social context. I could probably do it with my eyes closed, but I could gauge the sounds quite rightly, and that was just trial and error and practice. And then, of course, your different masks for different situations. You realise what the masks are appropriate. You realise through trial and error what works and what doesn't, what people expect. Because I always wanted to blend in. I was fed up of sticking out. I was fed up of always being the one who was picked on, really, for how I spoke, mannerisms, how I looked, sticky clump of hair. And so over time, I gradually worked on all of these things. So if we take it to now, to social situations as an adult, I have two ways which I manage to dodge out of social situations when they're getting on top of me, when I'm talking to somebody and it's just the social burnout. I've been talking to them for long enough, and I know it sounds a bit mean, but I've been talking to them and I'm struggling with keeping up the energy for the social interaction. One of them it sounds childish, but I'll say, I'm really, really sorry. I've been holding onto this pee for ages and I'm really going to go for a pee, but I'll be back in a second, really. And I'll rush off to the toilet, whether I need a pee or not. And then when you come back, invariably that person's gone off to talk to somebody else. So, hey, win. Or having my wife with me on social situations, because I'll say, oh, shit, I've just remembered, I really need to just tell my wife something before I forget. I'll be back in a second. Same thing, they'll go off and do something else. I'll glance over, they're talking. I'll walk past so I'm not looking like a dick, I'll walk past and kind of, oh, yeah. But those are my two get outs. So I do find it when I'm out socializing on my own, sometimes I kind of feel like a ship sailing into the wind, or adrift, I suppose. You know, I find it difficult, especially if I haven't got one good friend who I can just be myself with. You know, if I'm putting up a mask for a long time. But yeah, that's my attitude to masking, and why it is, for me, essential, important, and I've got very good at it, and well, I needed to for my own state of health, mental health. Longer than usual, this one, but you can't really skip over a lot of these subjects. There's obviously a lot more to it, a lot more of the masking which goes on. Like if you see somebody walking down the street, you know, you're going to come towards them. I kind of almost pre-prepare how my face should look. And that was when I was younger, so I didn't get picked on, because sometimes people thought I was looking angry or belligerent or looking for a fight or looking for something like that. And I wasn't. It's just my face was giving the wrong picture. Anyway, so that's just another quick example. So that's it in a nutshell for me. I mean, if anybody does watch this and they've got their own techniques, it would be interesting, and I would respond to any that are mentioned. But thank you. Bye.